Hello everyone, this is Benjamin Ramirez. This is the second video. Now, as you remember, as you've seen the first one, the moves are as follows: E4, C5, the Sicilian, B4. Basically after he and this accepted, obviously after not obviously, but for these videos it's accepted. Knight to F3 for more control over the center. Now, my last video was Knight C6, which I'm going to continue doing. Some people have said that E6 stops everything. I already have variations for this, so it doesn't matter if it's E6 or Knight to F6 for these next few videos, because if E6 and D4, Knight to F6 is pretty much the same as Knight to F6, D4, E6. So it's going to cover the E6, D4, Knight to C6. I'm not covering all of the E6 variations. I'm covering Knight to F6 variations. I mean Knight to C6 variations, not the E6 by itself. So I'm going to stay on topic, and later next ones I'm going to focus more on E6. I already have everything down, but I'm going to be doing stuff daily, so it'll slowly come out as I get input and feedback, because I want to see what people have to say and what they think. I already have all my notes out. So after this, I enjoy A3 here. Now, after A3, black has a few options. In the videos, I'm going to go over capturing A3 in this one. A different one, I'll be covering D5, and a different one, Queen to C7, Knight to F6, and two different ones of D6. I might actually cover more of this one later on too, I'm considering. Now, after he captures, I don't like to capture back right away. I can capture with the bishop or even the knight. The reason I don't capture right away is because I want to make it more clear for myself what piece I want there. Do I want my knight there? Do I want my bishop there? Or even the rook, depending on his bishop's activity. So I like to leave that open for options. So I personally prefer D5 here after that. And after D5, I haven't noticed much good or common for black. Black can capture here. However, I find that Queen to F6 would also develop a piece, challenge the center in a way, and also counterattack on the rook. So I can't capture the knight. Now, if he doesn't move here, let's say he does not move here at all, and go back like that. I'm still getting used to the controls. If he doesn't move, then basically his knight, where's his knight going to go? I mean, moving back would be undeveloping, which is you don't want to do that unless it's absolutely necessary. It's not necessary here. Put him off in the corner, which obviously that's not very good. This here is interesting. It seems okay. I mean, you can play this here and then have him move back somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's not fully great, but it seems okay. I mean, he will probably have to move back and you can capture it, but and mess up his pawn. So it's not completely horrible for him, but it's not something that ideal that you want to do. So that's why I like Queen to F6 best here. I think that's the best response. So after moving that, some players might move the knight around. Some people might even capture here. And if somebody did capture here, obviously you just simply capture back. And the same situation. He can move his queen to F6 again. He can move his knight somewhere. He can even move his queen to A5. So there's a little bit of counterplay there. And after D5, queen to F6, and after C3, this is the variation that I'm used to seeing more. simply because of the counterattack involvement. And after this, the most two moves are knight to e5 or e takes d5. Now, after e takes d5, you just simply capture and basically push the knight around. It's really basically, and then it's basically starts to get into the middle game after this. So I'm going over openings, not a full game. So, and it looks pretty decent for both. It's not horrible, and you have more space. You have some attacking things here, and you're down basically 2 pawns right now, but you can easily capture one back to be down 1. Now, it's a more of an open game, and you have lines for your rooks and so forth. And so it's not as good as the first one with d5. d5, obviously, you had a lot more space, and all your pieces were developed. So if your opponent plays d5, you'd have a really good advantage. Here you have a somewhat decent, opening. So it's not completely like in favor of one or the other, which is also fine. That's kind of, that's how openings are usually, unless you're looking for some type of super trick or something. Let me see something here. Give me a moment. I know I wrote something down in case there was some type of, I think it was here. I think it was here. I'm trying to look at my notes again to make sure something about this. Yeah, if you went there, you could push back and take, or you can simply capture with the bishop here. That was another possibility, locking him in. Now, there was something that I seen earlier that I wanted to go over, and I wanted to cover in the video. I want to try to remember what it was. I believe it involved, I believe it was queen to f3. I believe it was knight to e5, and if bishop captured here, what was it? Was it bishop captured here? Yeah, after bishop captured here, if knight captured, I believe that was it. No, it wasn't the bishop first. It was the knight first. I'm looking at it a little off. This is also possible. But after knight to e5, if you capture with your knight, a lot of people would be tempted to capture here and call a check. Now, if you capture for queen, it's going to look bad, obviously, because of the pawns right here. That obviously looks bad initially. And if he captures your knight after this, obviously it'll be difficult for him to castle. So, which is probably the best move for him. If he moved here, if this is where he moved, your knight can go right here and try to threaten the fork, the normal fork. Now, if the bishop goes back, you can simply move your pawn up to renew that threat. So that's something a little iffy here, is that if he plays knight to e5, you can capture with the knight here. Most people won't see this because they're not used to the lines. Most people won't see that capturing and capturing is actually bad for a black, especially if he doesn't capture that knight. This right here, I believe, is the best move. And as for take back, he'll have a little bit of trouble castling, but not impossible. But if he decides not to capture and try to develop in order to simply castle, for say, you can easily try to do that and obviously threaten him in his place, you know. Knight to f6, is it? Knight to f6. I don't believe knight to f6 would actually fix that problem. I'm gonna make sure before I send this one out. Yeah, knight to f6 doesn't fix it. What about knight to... I'm sorry, my notes are a little jumbled up. If he goes here instead, that also doesn't cover it. So he doesn't cover it either way. I know he doesn't cover it either way, but I wanted to show you guys and go over it to look at it. So it's you know, pretty serious. You can just simply, you know, I mean, there's not much he can do. He can probably move his king over here, but this is actually pretty bad for him. All right, so I figured I'd show some mistakes with the normal. The normal is pretty solid for both sides, but this is like, you know, 2-3 common mistakes that I want to show you guys with this opening that allowed me to win very easily in bullet games. And this is kind of the stuff that I seen with it, and I had to write some notes down. So sorry for my little confusion trying to look at my notes. However, this is actually a very good line. It says that e6 is the most solid, which it can be if you're, you know, a grandmaster and perfect. Any line can be very solid, but there's also mistakes, so we have to go over a few things that can happen. I hope you enjoyed. Just like and subscribe. I will be going over different moves. Like instead of b takes a3 at move 5, I'm going to go over d5, queen to c7, knight to f6, and d6, as I said. So this is, you know, after the 7 move c3, he can play ex takes d5 and knight to e5, and it seems pretty solid even after that. But there is some common mistakes and certain things to look out for, like the, you know, like the queen eyeing the rook, and like the whole thing when you can basically mess up his castle or even threaten forks and so forth shortly after. So I hope you enjoy. After a few videos of e6, if you encounter it, hopefully you'll learn some techniques that can go against it. All right, well, good luck, have a good day, and I hope you subscribe.